Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Lili Nishmasi Mimarosi Rismus Mordechai. We're going to start off with a video. My father, Reb Moshe Lachman Shlita, got myself and brothers involved. Baruch Hashem, we have all been Talmidim of the Shir. What a father. That's what we're talking about, bringing the Mishpacha into Torah. My kids, Baruch Hashem, are positively impacted as well. Polisi attached, Jay Lachman, a.k.a. RL58. Rebelli, Reb Chaim Kaufman, Zechat Tzadik LeBrocha, Rosh Yeshiva Tveres Yaakov Gates in England explained that the job of a kohen is to give brachas. So Malki Tzedek, Shem, doesn't know how to give brachas by blessing Hashem first and then Avram. It's only appropriate that the kahuna be taken away from his children. Thus, a person at a kiddush should first make a bracha. That's what we were talking about yesterday, that maybe some people go into a bar mitzvah or whatever and they eat and only afterwards they say Shalom Aleichem. First you go into kiddush, and somebody, I forgot his name, was sitting right over here in your seat. He said after, maybe that's shot in giving Yitzchak food and then brachas. First you make a bracha on the food, you say thank you to Hashem. You're saying as a melitza, as a drink and then say l'chaim. As opposed to saying l'chaim first and then make a bracha, bless Hashem first, then people. Check out attached Pele Yoitz, who cites a Zoyar, that if a person wants to bless his friend or son, he should first bless Hashem, otherwise the brachas won't be mekuyim. What are you saying? Okay, whatever. So this guy says like this. This guy has a murdic idea. A love. I mean, it's a good idea. It's actually a good idea, but put it to the list of other ideas. It's unbelievable what you're doing for Klal Yisrael. Many people are shaykh to Torah and learning. It's tremendous chusim. I myself try to do Daf Yomi on a regular basis. I don't listen to your shir, usually. It's easier for me to do it on my own, but very often I listen to the first 10 minutes. Just because it gives me a lot of chizik to see the achdas of MDY and to hear the emails that have people change their lives through your shir. I don't know how good your Hebrew is, but it's not so bad. Maybe you should give a shir in Hebrew also. Yeah. Can you imagine what it would be like if you can do the Israeli community, what you did to the English-speaking community? Although in Eretz Yisrael there's so much Torah within the hands reach, unfortunately, there are so many Yidden which are detached from learning, and something like Yeshir could get them on. So actually, this Motzei Shabbos, right? Is this Motzei Shabbos, Benny? We're starting a new location, MDY satellite location, where they're going to watch the Shir live every morning after Shachris, somewhere in Rechavia. You have the address? You're in the middle of Shnai Mikra, that's okay, don't talk. Say that. We'll get it later. If you can do it, I think there's even a bigger audience target. Many real and good Yidden which are thirsty for this kind of thing. So, for you, it's just another 45 minutes. As you anyway prepare for your share. But can you imagine how much harbatzas hatorah there would be? I mean, you're already doing the Shnai Mikra thing. You might as well just throw this in, and then the 8-minute daf too. You know how many more Yidden, and also a second share in English for Benjamin Schwartz and his friends in New York. Benching you with continued tremendous hatzlacha, Pinchas Zvi Rechasim. This is a status, sparks of a nation. Hatzalah hero, not just in saving lives, but in stealing time for internal matters. RH53 Hill Cornbluth caught doing the daf with MDY at the Muncie Hatzalah garage. Leibel Schlesinger, I enjoy listening to these on Spotify when driving my car. My Volvo has Spotify built in and it works great. However, I can hear how you describe different charts and artwork, but I cannot see any of it. It would be a great idea if you could create a section on your website where every day one can view today's charts online. That way, after my drive, I can visit that page and have a look at what you're referring to. Many thanks, Leibel. So it just happens to be that all daf has all the charts right under the shir. If you look over here on the screen, you'll see it says download. So Memela, it maybe should say charts or something like that, but right now it says download. You hit that button and all the charts come up. Where else can you find the charts? Oh, Spotify has video, but he wants to drive safely, maybe. Telegram, WhatsApp has all the charts every day. Lauren's Lamborghini. Lauren, the guy was on of today. If you don't have a Tesla, you know this. Volvo is garnished. Don't worry, you didn't have the anivas here. It's like me, my Camry, and Nachman Seltzer. Yeah. You and him are like he has a Camry. And Anivas. Yeah. Rabbi Isai, Nedarim Volume 2 is coming out very, very soon. So bring your friends, bring your mishpacha, bring the people you don't like, people you do like, everybody. No Jew will be left behind, he said yesterday. No Jew will be left behind. No, again. Let's hear this solo. Come on. I know, but this is the covenant Torah to bring another Jew. You know how many Gzina will join if they hear you solo? They will hear that. This will be your way to do it. No? Okay, insist not. The Koilel is sponsored. May we always be able to support Torah. May the Torah protect us from any harm. Amen. The Masechta. Ein Sgula Torah, vein Tomechia, kիעקב ויעל. The Paras HaChodesh. L'nishma Zechraya b'Moshe, l'nishma b'tzlאל b'Moshe. Avi, your father is coming back today? Tuesday. Okay, because this thing's over today. The Paras HaYoyin, Zvi Tzilah Raczkowski, in memory of Reva Raczkowski, Sorah Rivka, Bas Yehuda Areyh leib on her 20th yartzeit. May the neshama have an aliyah. Dr. Ari Hildi Fishman, in honor of the birth of a baby girl, and Daniella, and the growth of Shemesh. Where? Oh, Mazel Tov. You're related to these folks? Well, how? Shalom Aleichem. What's your name? We met already? No? We have. Shalom Aleichem. And you? Also. The grandfather. Mazel Tov. First time? First kid? So, how old are you? 18, 19? What's going on here? Wow. Unbelievable. Okay, Mazel Tov. Rabbi, so here we go. We're holding by a brand new Mishnah, Daf Amud Beis, by the Mishnah, brand new Perek. What is the difference if somebody says, I will not benefit from you at all, or I won't benefit from your food? What's the difference? Only very few differences, very, very small difference. Elo, drisas haregel v'kelim she'ein oisim bahem oichel nefesh. The only difference is that if a person is mudar hana just from food, so he can take a shortcut, he go through his property, it doesn't really hurt the guy that much. You know, I don't know if you've ever been to Muncie on a Shabbos, but people are going through people's backyards. It's very, very normal to do that. It's not like it costs them money or anything. The other thing is, you could borrow from him something that has nothing to do with food. If you're only mudar hana from food, so you could take from him a kli, like, I have a couple examples here, a tape measure. This has nothing to do with food, really, or a toilet brush, or a sewer snake. Yeah? There's no shaykhs to food. Okay. No, this is here for a reason. Okay? Fine. These are things you could borrow from him, because there's no shaykhs. If you were mudar hana from his belongings, then that's included. If you're mudar hana for oichel nefesh, for food, these items are not included. Hamudar machal mechaveroi. But if you said you're not going to have anything to do with your friend's food, it doesn't only include food. It includes everything that has to do with food. Lo yishileno napa ukvara. Here's a napa ukvara. Different sifters, different sizes, for flour, for wheat. Verichayim. Here's erichayim. These are kalim that allow you to make food. It's part of the food making process. The tanur. This is a tanur. This is in those days, they would put the pot on top, like sort of what we do today. Aval mashaloy choluk. You could lend him clothing. V'tabas. If he's a man, you can give him a ring. V'talis. Unazamim. A nezim. This is very interesting. We have a picture coming up soon. A nezim is a nose ring for a man. So, you know the story. I went to Reb Chaim Kanevsky with a guy, with a photographer, and the photographer had a ring on, and Reb Chaim Kanevsky said, I don't understand, why did you bring a girl to take pictures of me? So Yankee said, what do you mean, girl? He's a boy. No, he has a ring. Oh, the guy got so insulted, it was terrible. Mama, she wanted to go off the derech. I'm not kidding. So Reb Chaim Kanevsky did not like the whole ring thing. And nowadays it might be a little different. It's what do you call it? Begadisha, the whole thing, that was his thing. But in time of the Gemara, you see in the Mishnah, they used to wear rings, they used to have nose rings as well. Mantana. Who's the Tana that says that going through somebody's property, Drisas Regel, taking a shortcut is not a big deal? Omer Avada bar Ahava, Rebbe Eliezer. So Rebbe Eliezer would say that a shortcut is a problem. If somebody is mudar hana, and you go to the store, in those days especially, you bought a pound of apples, the guy would add an apple. Especially he wanted you to come back. It's good business practice. So that extra apple, that's called vitur, he's just giving you something for free. Rebbe Eliezer says, if you mudar hana, even though there's no real monetary gain here, it's normal business, it's not because you're something special, this is how it's done. You only paid for a certain amount to get that little extra. So too, I would say the same thing with taking a shortcut. Shortcut would also be problematic. Now, according to Chachamim, people are not makbid on these kind of things. They're not makbid on shortcuts, they're not makbid on the extra apple. So in Meila, it's not even considered having hana from the other person. Hamudar macha mechaver lo yashilenu. So it says in the Mishnah, if you're mudar hana from food, you cannot borrow from him an apple kfara, the tools that you make food. Ask the Gemara, where did you get this from? Top of Lamed Gimel Amud Aleph. V'hamin machal nadar. It says the word machal. Machal means food. It doesn't mean food utensils. It means food. Omar Abshim Lakish. Ba'omer hanas machal chalai. No, you're right. Actually, you're right. If he would just say the word machal, mudar from food. Food includes cereal, meat, pizza, those kind of things. But the sifter that makes the pizza, that's not included. But he said, hanas malchocho alai. So, he is answering on himself anything that causes food, that brings out food. And the Ran sticks in a little knetch here because otherwise, what in the world is he saying? Ba'omer hanas malchocho alai. You should say macholcha. What's hanas macholcha? Hanas macholcha, the hana of the food means anything that brings me to the food. Obviously, that's what he meant. Well, if that's the case, maybe that's not what he meant. Hanas macholcha means side hanas that you could have from the food besides swallowing it and eating it. Maybe the word hanas machol means to put the food on a wound. So you're not eating it, but it's the hana that comes out of the food. Omerova, you're right. So what he's saying is, he's adding these words. What the Mishnah is talking about, a case where he says, hana hamevia lidei machol cholai. Any benefit, any hana that brings to me eating. Again, so Rabbi say, let's think about this for a second. The guy says, any hana that brings me to eat is asur. That would include a sifter. What about taking the food and putting it on your wound that we just discussed a second ago? He said, hana hamevia lidei macholcha. Hana that brings to eating. He doesn't say anything about not eating. It's all about eating. So if I take this food and I put it on my wound, is that mutar or asur? What is it? What does the Olam say? Hillel? So it's actually machlokes, but we're going according to the Ran. So here, this is what we come up with the sugya right here. Based on the shackle v'tayr, based on the two tirusim of the Gemara, we have something very, very clear.
I'm so happy you got the right answer.
He's jealous. Wow. We're not stalking anymore in the shit. We're being nice to each other, especially brothers. You started though. You deserve. Okay, fine. Where's Tati when we need him? Listen, if a guy says macholcha asur alai, just your food. So the Gemara says mefurish. If he just said that word, it does not include utensils. It doesn't include anything but actual food. That's the Gemara. Taking it from the Gemara. Second places, he says hanas macholcha alai. So you're not allowed to eat the food, hanas machol. But guess what? Hana of the machol also includes medicine. So you're not allowed to take that food and put it on your wound. What about a sifter? It's not included in that. Hanas macholcha does not include a sifter. But so Mela, in the case number 2, in blue, a sifter is mutter. Case number 3, and I did tiny little 3 because I couldn't put a real 3 in there. Hana mevil de machal, that's what we just discussed. According to the Ran, you're not allowed to eat, and you're not allowed to use the kalim because it brings to meichel, but to put it on your wound is mutter. It comes out beautiful. If you say a certain thing, then wound is aser, sifter is mutter. If you say another thing, wound is mutter, sifter is aser. So it depends how you say it. These are the 3 ways to say it, and it just comes out very clear. The Ran brings this, it's not me, the Ran says it, just from the questions of the Gemara. That's what he was saying on Friday that we learned. Sometimes the Gemara asks a question and says an answer, a question and answer, and from this, that's how the Shulchan Aruch brings out all these halachas. No, this is according to the Ran. The Ari Shoinim that are mechulek on the Ran in the 3rd case. That's why he's right. It is machlokes Shoinim. I'm going according to the Ran. What? Yeah. And also Makkah. Makkah is always included according to the other Rishonim. Huh? Hanoas Mevia. Hanoas Mechila includes Napo Kvara. Does not include wound. But if you say Hanoa Mevil, that's the machlokes. Omer Papa. Sak lahavi peiros. So here we're going. We're one step removed. It's not food. It's the trunk of the car that holds the food. V'chamar lahavi olav peiros. Little picture here. You have a chamar that's carrying peiros, and he also has a sack. So the donkey, the car, and the sack that hold the plastic bag that holds the food, is that included in your neder? V'chamar lahavi olav peiros. Va'afilu tzino ba'alma. Just a bag, a basket. Hano hamivia lidei machol hu. So this is less than an apo kvara. An apo kvara has it's directly related to food. Without the napo, without the kvara, you don't have food. You could have a carrot without the donkey. You don't need the donkey. It just helps you. So it's another step removed. So these are all included. Bayra Papa, sus lirkoiv olav, v'tabas lerois ba mau. Here's today's art. Yoshi thought this would be hilarious. I feel bad for the guy. At 1:30 in the morning, he sent it to me. I was already sleeping. And he said I uploaded it, but I couldn't find it uploaded. So I had to take it's not as, the clarity is not the best, but it will make it do. This is his thing. If you look close, I just blew up the thing. Here's a guy, it's hard to see, but he has a nose ring. He has a ring on his finger. He has a horse. He has a nice cloak. All this for what? Oh, I don't know. Could you see? I wish he did the nose ring a little bit stronger. But all this in order for him to get food. What does that mean? If you come along and you look mechubed, you have a nice nose ring in your nose, people will feed you. You're chashiv. I have a mashal I just did today. Today, this is a demo right here. Yeah. If you come like this, if you wear a special cloak, then you're chashiv. People give you whatever you want. In those days, it was a nose ring, a ring on your finger, this, I don't know what, some sort of talus, a horse. He's chashiv. Reminds me this guy, Ma'aser Shahaya. There was a 20-year-old kid who figured out that if he rents a Lamborghini, and he rented a bodyguard, so let's say it cost him $2,500 the whole thing, and he showed up to these parties, and people just swarmed around him. This kid, he said his name is Rothschild, I don't know what his name was, Gates. The name is Andrew Gates. Andrew Gates. And then people started investing with him. He was a con artist. That's what he did. All you have to do is show up a nice horse. Today it's Lamborghini. Nice because fine. Okay. Mifsak umezal ba'aramai. And also, this is the same thing. So you hear the shaila here. There are things that bring the food to you, and there are things that bring you to the food. So it's two different shailas over here. Over here, You're taking action to bring you closer to the food. You're wearing a nice hat that's going to bring you closer to the food. It's different than bringing the food to you through a napo kvara, through some sort of tool. There was a maisa. It's not supposed to be funny, this maisa. It's a musar haskell. There was a poor person who went to a wedding. He came with his tattered clothes, so they kicked him out. They said, "You don't belong here, get out." So he went to one of his friends and he borrowed like a nice suit. He comes in, people, chashav, bring him up to the front, and they gave him a meal. So he takes the meal and he starts smearing it on his clothing like this, like putting it in his pockets. So what are you doing? He said, because they didn't give me the meal, they gave my clothes the meal. So I gave the food to the clothes. You have to remove yourself from. Don't look at the chitzonius. You look at Toshma. This is in our Mishnah, that you could lend somebody a cloak and a talis, nezem, a nose ring, v'tabois. I keep on thinking about this. Like, if we were to meet the people in the time of the Gemara, we'd throw them at a shul, off the derech. We'd for sure not let their kids into our schools. Well, the guy shows up in a nose ring. So what if he wrote shas? Who cares? He has a nose ring. Unbelievable. Hey Chidami. What's the story in the Mishnah? A guy borrowed a ring. What is he doing with it? He's not going to show it off to anybody. There's no connection between the ring and the food. He made a neder again. He's not going to benefit from Ruvain's food. He's permitted to borrow Ruvain's ring. Okay. And what is he doing with the ring? He's not showing it. He doesn't go to shul with it. Just in his house, he walks around with it. Okay, so that doesn't help him with food. Why would that be asur? It has to be, the only time it's asur is if the ring is connected to food, to his neder. Of course it's mutter. No, he runs around and everybody sees he has a nice fancy diamond ring. So they give him food. So you see over here that a grama, this is just a grama, it's causing somebody to think that you're chashav a guy and therefore he gives you food and that's mutter. Says Gemara loy lam shlei rice. We're talking about a case where you just put it in his pocket. No, so what's the chiddush? There is no chiddush. Because it just mimics the Reisha. The Reisha says you shouldn't lend certain things. So say these things you could. The Ran, throughout the whole Masechta, he says the same thing over and over, so I'll just say what he says. He says, but now we don't know. We don't have, the Gemara doesn't tell us what to do in this case. It could go this way, it could go that way. So what do? You machmer. You go to Chumrah, and it's asur. Says the Heilige Mishnah, the official Mishnah sponsored in Schos for continued Hatzlacha and limud hatorah. Anything that you don't, it's a tool that it's not for food. Asur. This is an amazing halacha. So here it is. This is the drain snake that we saw before. It has nothing to do with food, but they rented it in Home Depot. So if I give it to you for free, what just happened? You just gained $25. And what are you going to do with the $25? You're going to go buy food. So it's asur. That's a major chiddush. All these things, if there's some money involved here, where you can gain money, then it's directly as if you gave him food. Asur. Makom shemaskirin kayoytze bahen. Asur. Says the Gemara, Michlal, the Reisha, Afal Pisha Maskir. Our first mission of the parak. It's talking about Napo Kvar, the sifters. It says that you're not allowed to give it to him. Afal Pi Shei Maskir. Mantana, or Reva Eliezer here. Reva Eliezer is of the opinion that even something that doesn't have that much benefit, doesn't have benefit. It's also asur. Vitor is asur. So too, Napo Kfaro, when you're not masquerade is also asur. It's like letting a guy go through your front yard. It doesn't cost you anything. Nevertheless, it's asur. So therefore, even though there's no monetary gain here, it's still asur according to Reva Eliezer. Says the official Mishnah, sponsors in Schos. You know what? We'll just make this one. I didn't look inside in the Nedarim, but I'm pretty sure this is one Mishnah in the Mishnayos. Okay, sponsored in schus for continued atzlacha and limud hatorah. We'll give him a break. Moshe Cohen, sponsored in schus for continued atzlacha and limud hatorah and limud hatorah. Muda no mechaveira. Shoykeloi shikloi. So we know what machzah shekel is. We had a lot of it in the last few weeks. Machzah shekel. Yeah, you can do this. I need the button though. No, Be'ez Hashem one day. Machzah shekel. Every yid is mechuyev to give a half a shekel. We put in a big pile. We take 3 boxes off the pile and we buy with it korbanos. All of Klal Yisrael has to be part of the korban because we have the communal korbanos like Musaf on Shabbos, Rosh Chodesh, the Oilos, different things that we do. The Tamid every morning, every afternoon. You have to be part of it. Every yid has to be part of it. So if you didn't give your shekel, your friend could give it for you. We're going to see, maybe, perhaps, he already gave it and never arrived. At the end of the day, even if you didn't give, the Beis HaMikdash gives for you. We have you in mind, even if it never arrived, even if you never gave. And therefore, you yourself, the guy, the nice guy that's sending in a half a, you know those guys that pay the meters? You see the meter maid, what is it called? Meter maid coming in New York, and you run, you put a quarter in there real quickly, fine. So you see that the time is coming and going. So you know what? I'll send a half a shekel for this guy. He doesn't have to pay you back. And because he doesn't have to pay you back, it's as if he never got hana from you. Now this is a big one. And it sounds very familiar because we had the sugi at the end of Ksubas. A month ago, whatever, a month and a half ago. Uperez choyvai. A guy owes $100,000. You go and you pay off his mortgage. You go and you pay off. No, he doesn't have to pay you. No, we're going to see. It's a halach of mavriach hari. You're not giving direct benefit right now. You're giving back. Reuven lost something, so Shimon gives it back to him. So Shimon didn't give anything to Reuven. It was Reuven's. He didn't gain anything. It was his to begin with. So Reuven is permitted to receive it back. We're going to see who exactly lost it. Is the person that has the neder, not the neder, the person that can't benefit, or the person that could benefit? There are places that they pay people to return the Aveda. Now, First Yisrael explains here, we had this, but he says it with the baktzeiner. He says, what do you mean we pay? It's a mitzvah to be Meishav Aveda. So he says it's something similar to a prusbul. That Chacham saw that it was necessary to make a tikkun to fix what's going on. People, they didn't want to waste time. People have jobs. I'm going to go pick up this guy's wallet and I have to make it to work. If I don't make it to work, I'm going to lose all this money. So just let somebody else pick it up. So Takanas Chacham was that we'll pay you for your lost time. That's what we pay. So it's similar to a prusbul. He even uses a lashon like the mafkir, the Baal Aveda, the one that lost its nechasim, and to pay back. Okay. I was just thinking, like, what's a good example of Hashavas Aveda today? I'm not saying it's 100% halachically correct, but it's within the realm of Hashavas Aveda. Today we don't really find things that much. You know, a bike, lost this. But what could be Hashavas Aveda, and I saw this, Reb Zilberstein was mo'er me this idea that if you see your friend driving, let's say, to a wedding, and the wedding is next week, and you don't tell him, so you're over in Hashavas Aveda. It's Hashavas Aveda to tell him, hey, you're wasting your time, you're wasting the fuel in your car, it's Hashavas Aveda, that sort of thing, like to help your friend not to lose money. Says the Mishnah, if, now, the guy returning the Aveda, he has every right in the world to take the $10 that he lost. He makes $10 an hour, so he lost $10. The other guy wants to pay him, so he can take the money. But what if he doesn't want the money? He says, no, I want the mitzvah, I don't want money. Yeah, a lot of people would do that. But the guy that lost the Aveda is not allowed to have hana from him. He was mudar hana from him. The guy that lost the Aveda, let's call him Reuven. He said, I'll never benefit from Shimon. And by Shimon not taking the $10 that he deserves, Ruvain is going to benefit $10. It's going to remain in his pocket. He's mechuyev. Chacham made a takana that Ruvain has to pay Shimon, and now Ruvain doesn't have to pay Shimon. He gets to keep the $10. So he just made a gain. So what do? It's a big problem. He can't gain from him because he's mudar anah. So what does he do? Let him take that money and give it to Hagdish. Says the Gemara, Alma. Mamish, we had the sug, Alma avruchi ariba almahu ushari. What you're doing is you're chasing away a lion. A lion is about to attack your flock, so you come with a stick and you chase away the lion. You can't demand any compensation for it. There's no compensation. There's no visible hana here. So the Ram brings the famous sugya, like if I go into your property and I plant a bunch of trees and I plant this, so you're mechuyev to give me at least the basics, the cost or whatever. But over here, you're just chasing away an Ari. Why is it a mitzvah? To do what? Like what? It's a mitzvah to pay somebody's chay back. If your mitzvah, not a, but he doesn't have a mitzvah. If you pay my chayv, are you mekayim a mitzvah?
Chesed.
It's chesed. Okay, so. But time out. But wait a minute. No, there's another thing here. You're talking about the guy doing the mitzvah. I'm talking about the guy, or you're saying that the machzah shekel is not my mitzvah, but I just had a monetary gain. I have to give a half a shekel, and because of you, I don't have to give a half a shekel. I have to pay back a chayv, because of you, I don't have to pay back. So I benefited from you a lot of money, $10,000. Mitzvah, not in the chayv, for sure there's no mitzvah. Even if you have a mitzvah of chesed, I don't have a mitzvah receiving it from you. I have to pay back. You're saying it's time out. In addition to Pirs B'Chayv mitzvah that we discussed a long time ago, there's also a chiyah, you have to pay $10,000. There's a mitzvah, but it's also going to cost you $10,000 out of your pocket. That is not a mitzvah. The $10,000 by itself is not a mitzvah. You're mekayim a mitzvah of Pirs B'Chayv. Avruchi Ariba Alma Ushari Mantana. Who's this man Amar? Now, in Machzas Shekel, that's the Ran explains again, because anyway, he doesn't have to give it. Because he has a little bit of a chelik in the carbon. Omer Rav Yishaya, Zu, Divrei, Chananhi. This is Chanan. As we're going to see, the Gemara is going to explain the case. That a person, with a famous case, right? We had, if you started in Nedarim, it's not so famous. But we had this in Ksubas where a person leaves the country, and he leaves his wife, and his wife has to fend for herself. Comes a friend along and doesn't like what he sees, and he gives the wife food. He's mefardes her. So Chanan holds that the husband, when he comes back, he tells the wife, "Bye-bye. Not the wife. He tells the nice guy, it's your problem. I don't have to pay you back." The guy, the bad guy that left without leaving his wife any money, you can't sue him. And then the Kohanim G'daylim, we're going to see soon, interesting name, Kohanim G'daylim, argued on Chanan, and they hold that he could just swear how much he gave to the wife, and he could be tevei, and therefore it is a real hana. If you recall, I said the story then, I'm not going to say it over again, but Mamash al Regal Achas, I think it was the Barditchever, who said about a certain person that everybody was making fun of him by the Levaya, that he was the stingiest guy in town. He said, listen, I had 3 dinatayros with this guy. Yeah. And one of them was that a husband promised his wife that this stingy guy is going to take care of her. And he left. And the wife came knocking on the door. And what happened was, the end of the story was, they never made a deal. But the stingy guy realized what's going on. He didn't want to hurt this woman. So he gave her food. And then when the husband came back, he was surprised to see his wife living it up. So he said, what's going on? She said, didn't you tell me that so-and-so is gonna pay for my expenses? He says, yeah. But he didn't tell her the truth. So he runs to the guy. What happened? He says, I understood what's going on. I paid. So he says, okay, let me pay you. And the miser, the stingy guy says, I'm not taking any money. I want the mitzvah. So was it the Barditchever? Yeah. So Barditchever said, a guy like that, 3 dinatayros, and they came to me the Torah. The guy said, I want to pay you. And the guy said, I'm not accepting any money. I want the mitzvah. That's not a stingy guy. You thought one way, but El Yoinim Lamata Tachtoinim Lamala. which happens very often. I'll go upon him. It's the same story. He leaves his wife without any food, and somebody came in and was mefarnes her. The sponsor, Amud Beis, by Yankel Cohen, the official MDY MSP. L'schus being able, what's MSP again? He told me then. What? Manufacturer suggested retail price. No. Managed service provider. Who? It's a service provider, some sort. Okay. He's the official MDY. We should know if he's the official MDY, we should know what it is. L'schus being able to support limud hatorah and to finish shas with the rebelli. Fine. My chanan, what's this chanan? Oh, Reva Omar, thank you. Reva Omar, filu teimo divrei hakol. Rava doesn't like to say, as the Gemara is going to explain mamish before, but it's partial. He doesn't want to say like a yachid chanan. It goes according to everybody. Gabi mudahano diyav al menash loy lefroya. This is an interesting case. It happens sometimes. It happened to me one time. The guy says, I want to borrow money, but I'll pay it back whenever I feel like it. It's okay. Basically, it's a matana. He might pay it back, he might not. If I feel like it, when I feel like it. If you never need the money again, that's what the guy told me. Okay, fine. So that's what happened there. It's very rare, but that's what happened. So in Mela, when you go and you pay it back, you're not doing him any favor. The guy made a deal with the lender. I don't have to pay it back. If I feel like paying it back, I'll pay it back. It could be in 100 years from now. It could be never. So Mela, don't go ahead and pay for me. Nobody asked you. The time didn't come. One day I'll do it by myself. Now, there is an inyan, and that the Gemara over there says as a maskana, there's an inyan of kisufa. The guy's embarrassed. You're saving him from embarrassment. Okay. But the Gemara doesn't bring it here, really. My chana. So let's go back to chana. It's not. A guy went away. And somebody decided to help out the wife. He never gets paid back. The Bnei Kohanim said, so according to them, he could get his money back. If he gets his money back, he benefited him. Or like the Bnei Kohanim Agdolim. Omar Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. Yafel Mar Chanan. Chanan said beautifully, Hiniach ma'oisav al keren hatzvi. Here's the picture. That's mine. Still the remnants of Eli's art. Be'ez Hashem, one day you won't have to suffer through this. It'll be all Yoshi. I'll go on him. If you do something like that, you try to support somebody else's wife when he's gone, you should know you'll never see your money back. Now, the Rashba, there's a machlokes here. The Ram brings a Rashba and he argues on him. The Rashba says the Chanan is only talking about a case where he gave the money as a loan to the husband. He gave it to the husband. In other words, the husband has a friend that lives locally. He sees, he left his wife here, he forgot to leave her allowance. I'll step in, but I want my friend to pay me back. What if he doesn't say who pays him back? He just says, I'm giving this woman money. It's very interesting because that's what we would think was the case here, right? He never stipulated who he's helping out, the wife or the husband. He just came in stam without saying anything. Says the Rash was stam, then it's different. Because then he lent money to the woman. And the woman is chayiv to him. She will go to her husband and sue her husband. The Ran argues on that. Okay. Stam as a musar here. I couldn't find this, but Rav Shalom Shvadron understands. He says that sometimes a tzvi, if he wants to save his life, he has to break his antlers. If his antlers are too large, he'll get caught by the predator in a second. He'll never be able to get between the trees and the bushes. So he has to break his antlers. So says, I don't know if there's a metzias like that, but a theoretical metzias. Says Reb Shalom Shvadron, we also have to break our antlers, our gaiva, our things that are menea us to push ahead in life. Things that you think that are important to you, like antlers, sometimes we just got to get rid of them. All right, Zok the Gemara. Rava says the Gemara, how come Rava says Divrei Akol, not like Chanan? He doesn't want to just say that the Mishnah goes like one individual chanan. He wants to say that it goes according to everybody. That we're talking about a very specific case where he borrowed money from somebody on condition that he doesn't have to ever pay it back. But that's not good, says Rav Shaya. That's a very far-fetched case. And if I allow you to benefit from somebody in such a case, you might come to benefit when the case is a normal case of a regular loan, not a loan that is specified XYZ, a very, very rare case. Truth is, we can do this sugya tomorrow. We'll start it today. It ends tomorrow, the sugya. So unfortunately, because it's Motzei Shabbos, I couldn't get Yoshi. He tried, but so this is my stuff, and it's not very clear. But what you see here is, I get it. The papers are very light. But Ruvain he's dropping stuff from his suitcase in this case, and Shimon is the one that found the stuff, and he wants to give it back to Ruvain, the Bal Aveda. Ruvain is Bal Aveda. He lost the stuff. Shimon is the Machzir. So says the Gemara, this is Machlokes. Chad Amar Leishanu Ela Kishenichsei Machzir Asurim al Bal Aveda. When Ruvain's nechasim are asur on Shimon. So Shimon, who's asur in the nechas, he's allowed to give it back to Ruvain, no problem. The Chim Mahaderle, Midam de Nafsheko Mahaderle, he's just giving back to Ruvain what belongs to Ruvain. Aval Nichsei Bal Aveda Asurim al Machzir. But if Shimon is asur on the nechasim of Ruvain, Loika Mahaderle. Over here we have the famous concept of Pruta de Rav Yosef. Rav Yosef is of the opinion that when you ha'isik b'mitzvah, pater min mitzvah. So you have a special hana when you return an aveda. The guy returned the aveda has a special hana. Why? Because now he doesn't have to give money to a poor person. Middle shachris, I'm davening, I don't have to give money. Shabbos aveda. Now everybody agrees. Even those who argue with Rav Yosef agree that Rav Yosef is only arguing with does it become a shom masachar through that pruta. Whether or not it becomes a shom masachar is not relevant. Everybody agrees that he's going to gain that pruta, and if he gains that pruta, he does have anah. This idea that the guy might come when he's dealing with the aveda is not shchiach. I just want to say real quickly to Benny, because I was talking to Benny about it. He said he doesn't feel so comfortable giving to certain people that come through the shul. And then I saw him starting to give shekel. So I found the Yerideh today. The Simon Reishmim test, if you dial, you can look it up. It says, Toiv lasis pruta, koidim kol tefillah. Every day you should give, you should try to give, find the ani. The Beis Halevi says, very interesting, Beis Halevi says, I didn't think about it too much, because it's this morning, but he says that it's very hard to find a true mitzvah nowadays. Very hard. A real mitzvah. We don't have Beis Hamikdash, and we don't have one mitzvah that we have bishleimus, tzedakah. You can always find the real ani and give him real tzedakah. As I talked there. So anyway, this idea of giving a pruta, just a pruta, have a wonderful day.
Does that mean the guys who walk in here